You know, one thing that really bugs me about the personal development industry is the excessive push for the work and grind. Life is hard sometimes. It really is. Sometimes it feels like the rug has been pulled right out from underneath us. And as we're trying to clean up the pieces, it feels like there's other aspects that then just knock us down just the same. And it feels that no matter how hard we try, we just keep getting knocked over. And then we sit here in the personal development world with all of these messages of suck it the fuck up, just push, don't be a pussy, and this incessant need of like, okay, well, if you can't do this, you don't have what it takes to be successful. And I'm starting to learn that the life that comes with that consistent drive to do something at all times every day is not ideal for me anyways. And I wanted to verbalize this to show that it's okay. It's okay if you don't want that kind of life. You don't have to have, you don't need to do something purely because you believe society has an expectation of you to do this thing. And the more and more I've been doing this soul searching, I've been realizing that I have been or have attached myself to a lot of these practices and to a lot of this doing the things because I feel like I'm just supposed to do them, not necessarily because I want to do them. And as I'm getting resistance in that direction, I'm getting pushed over in other aspects of life, which then leads me to being in a state of self-catastrophizing and trying to grasp onto anything that I can, because reality as I know it has been kind of falling apart. And I'm realizing more and more the simple question that I already stated is asking is like, do we actually want the things that we say we want? Or do we think that we're just supposed to want them? I'm not saying that I have all of the answers in this area. I'm currently on that journey finding that out. But I sure as shit know that life is hard. It really is. And, you know, another aspect of the personal development industry that really bugs me is this push to always be positive. Always be positive. Look for the positivity in things. That's not a legible thing. The scale and range of emotions that we feel is so vast that we are not able to truly appreciate the emotions that feel good without experiencing the emotions that make us feel less good. And I'm discovering that the more and more we do this work and create attachments to specific emotions that we have deemed to create our identity around is the very thing that's holding us back from just being. That's holding us back from becoming an observer of our thoughts and of our emotions. And it's easy for someone to just sit here and say that, hey, you gotta not identify as this or as that, and you just gotta be an observer. It's easy to say it. Sounds super simple. And the process it is, but the actual grasping of the concept of that, it isn't. Or at least it isn't for me. Especially in recent time. Because a lot of the things in my life that I thought were who I was, I'm realizing aren't. And so, in a sense, it feels like I have lost my identity. Where I don't know who I am anymore. And at first, when this first happened, I had a bit of a breakdown, and it was the first breakdown that I had in a very long time. I'm not one to let out the sobbing cries very often, and it just needed to happen. And throughout that breakdown, trying to rationalize aspects of my life, and even catching myself into these thoughts of trying to identify what's going on and seeing what I could do to control the outcome. But then I remember one cue that I use with my clients all the time, and it's a simple question to ask ourselves: is this something that is based out of love, or is it based out of fear? And I realized that I have been running in a state of fear for a very long time, justifying it to myself as love. So things like not having fun because I'm afraid to have fun, because I feel like I don't deserve it. We all deserve to have fun. Not loving myself because I'm afraid to love myself because I felt like I didn't deserve it. But we all have to love ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves, how in the hell are we supposed to expect anybody else to know how to love us? And that is a huge lesson that I'm currently learning for myself, is picking up the pieces and inspecting each one and being an observer of all of these pieces of myself. And as I'm putting them back and I'm observing, I'm realizing that there's freedom in this, because now I can rewrite the story that I've been telling myself for so long. I can rewrite myself to be the person who I actually want to be, and finally lay this attachment that I had to myself with an idea of who I thought I was supposed to be, based on the opinions, or what I thought, or the concern around the opinions of others. And there's a sense of peace and freedom in that. There's a sense of peace and freedom in realizing that, hey, we just simply need to be, and life is going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And the trials and hardships that we're going through right now might feel like the end of the world. But the fact of the matter is when we actually analyze our past, we've been through a lot of shit. We've overcome a lot of shit. And it's a matter as to where we're currently at, trusting ourselves that we will be able to figure out whatever it is that life decides to throw at us. That, whatever God's plan is. And it's been an interesting wake-up call, because I find myself scrambling to hold on to this identity as a victim that I placed a mask over to justify it to myself. And it was really hard for me to admit that to myself. It really was. And even saying this here on camera, it's very uncomfortable on the inside. But here's the thing, is I'm aware that I can only help people with coaching as far as I myself have gone. And so where the freedom lies in the peace is that we have the power to rewrite who we thought we are into the person who we want to be. And that's it. That's it. We have that power. We have that choice. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. That rock bottom feel is not a good feeling. However, I know that we are able to do this. I know that if you have watched the video thus far, you are able to do this because you invested yourself enough to see how this video turned out. And so if you watch this video in its entirety, I'm proud of you. Because I know that it's vulnerable. I know that if you watch this video in its entirety, that there's some part of you that related to this. And hey, if that's the case, let's chat about it. I'm always open to talk. Simple conversation is a very good way to help broaden perspective on things that we're not currently aware about. Sometimes it's just a simple sidestep to be able to have that aha moment. I know that I believe in you if you choose to do that work. And I know that I believe in myself, even though it sucks. Take care, everybody.